As promised in the video yesterday on the emerging regions review, we have the Spring Cup predictions for EU, Dacia, whatever. I'm not going to try and pretend like I know how to pronounce it still. Once I say it on the broadcast, I'm like, that's it. But until then, whatever. Also, fully expect by tomorrow, X Team Queso to no longer be X Team Queso. Someone's got to pick them up the day before of the event, kind of a thing. We're just going to do regular predictions today. I do plan on streaming tomorrow, by the way, around like 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Cody, community member, shout out Cody, had a great idea on a previous video of predetermining the spots, like coin flipping these early and then seeing how it plays out the rest of the bracket, like how seeds look. So probably do that. Hang out with you guys, talk with RLCS. But that all being said, predictions, Team Queso. I don't think they get a game. Carmine versus Semper is interesting. I'm not sure how much I believe in Carmine, and I don't know who I prefer out of Semper there. I think he goes 5 games, but I think Carmine has a good shot at beating the new Semper roster without Archie. Dignitas versus Suh. Suh is Tho, Oli, and Mike Boy. For those of you that don't know, Dignitas, I think, can beat them 3-1. It'll be a good series, but I don't see Dignitas losing in the first round here. I hope not. Endpoint, new pickup of Archie. I think this is going to be a pretty easy matchup for them against Wild. No disrespect to Wild, but I do think Endpoint's a better team there. Now we get the Evil Geniuses versus Team Liquid. Liquid, you had a good chance in the close qualifiers to come in with like more momentum, but they fumbled the bag a lot during that close qualifier. I'm giving this one to Evil Geniuses. I don't see EG losing. I think EG's actually a really good team. I will give Liquid a game though. Vitality versus Misfits. I'm going new look Vitality. I think Radisson is going to help them quite a bit here. I love Misfits. I love Cash, but I'm just, what I saw from them in the close qual, I'm just not buying it right now. BDS versus Wolves. I don't see that going any differently. BDS, it's Seiko's debut with that roster, and they're going to be crazy. So BDS all the way there. Luminosity versus SK Gaming. This is interesting because SK looked really good in the close qual. Shout out Fruity. But I don't see that mounting any momentum for them. I'll give it a 3-2. I'll make it close, but I don't see it happening for them personally. Now we're gonna do upper corner finals next. Kind of see what's going on here. I think X Team Queso. I'll give Carmine a game. I'll give Carmine a singular game there. But K-Corp, not happening for them against 100 moist clouds, right? Rise, Joyo, and Vatira, they got this. Dignitas versus Endpoint. This is gonna be interesting. Endpoint's boot camp buff, the Bosch father, Archie. I'm giving it to Archie and the boys. I'll give it a 3-2. It'll be interesting. Joyous, Jack, and Scrubkilla, how they're looking off their winter major performance. Definitely we'll see, but I think this could be a coin toss. Now, EG versus Vitality. Evil Geniuses had a great winter split. I do expect them to build off of that heading through the rest of the season, and that's why I'm picking them 3-1 over Vitality. I think Vitality, they'll get there. They'll just need a little bit of time to kind of like grow into their roster. They obviously have played in a couple tournaments. They've had a lot of time to practice with Radisson instead of Fairy Peak, but I'm giving the edge to Evil Geniuses there. And now we have BDS versus Luminosity. Luminosity cannot escape BDS. 3-0. BDS, I think this is their tournament to lose. Maybe not their event to lose, but it is their road to a top 3 to lose, essentially. Got lower round ones now. BS Plus Competition versus Semper. I got Semper here. Suh is going to beat Wild. I think Suh is actually a pretty solid roster. Liquid versus Misfits. Now, this is pain. I don't think Misfits. I don't think it happens for them. I don't think they lose. Liquid, unfortunately, out in the first round. I want this team to be better. They just need to show more consistency, and it just wasn't there yet. Just was not there. I'll give it a 3-2. SK versus Wolves. You know what? I liked how SK looked in the qualifiers. I'll give it a 3-1 over Wolves. Lower round 2s, Luminosity versus Semper. I actually have more faith in Luminosity roster than Semper. Nothing against Chaussette, Exotic, and Casio, but I just like the Luminosity roster a bit more. Team Vitality versus Suh is actually really interesting. Suh placed ahead of them both times in the off-season tournaments that were pretty prevalent in Europe, beating them in one of the grand finals. I got Suh beating Vitality again. I think they got enough to beat them. Pick up Suh. Vitality, not enough yet to get past the 9th through 12th, but I think they'll work on it. They'll get better. Dignitas will beat Misfits. I think pretty soundly. I think it'll be It's just a tough go about it for Misfits. This format is brutal, and there can be no mistakes to be had, and I don't see Misfits playing mistake-free Rocket League. The final lower round 2 matchup is Carmine Corp versus SK Gaming. Man, Carmine Corp, can you do it? Astral, Itachi, and Nolly. Can you beat SK Gaming? I think they can. I'm gonna give it a sweep. I believe in Carmine Corp. Still, after all this time, I still believe in Carmine Corp. But that is not to mean I think they'll go any further, because they lose to Dignitas here, 3-1. Get that one out of the way real quick. Luminosity versus Suh. Bro, Suh. I like Luminosity, Tox, Ixo, and Atomic, but Suh is going to show that they are the real deal in terms of playing spoiler in Europe. X Team Queso versus Endpoint. These are best of 7s now. I'll give it a 4-2. The Bosch father cannot Bosch his way to an upper final, unfortunately. BDS versus Evil Geniuses. I got to give this one to BDS. Give it a 4-1. I think everyone's upper final likely will be X Team Queso versus Team BDS. I don't see any other reason for it to not be that. Endpoint versus Suh. I got Endpoint taking it here. I think Suh's run ends at this point in time. Nothing against Tho, Oli, and Mike Boy. I do think this team is actually really solid, and I expect them to make more like top 8s range. I think they're going to be their best tournament probably of the split. But Endpoint is going to take them out there. And then Dignitas versus EG. Dignitas choked against EG at the Winter Major. I don't think they do it again this time. I think they get their revenge and we go 4-1. EG a top 6. It's good for them. Puts them in a good spot for that 5th seed for the Spring Major already. So EG staying consistent, I'd say. Now we got BDS and Queso and Endpoint and Dignitas is our final 4. Going to the upper final. It's like, I think it's enough. I think Team Queso has enough. This is going to be a fantastic series. I think they have enough to beat Monkey Moon, Extra, and Seiko. It's Seiko's first tournament with BDS, so I don't expect them to be pristine, polished, 100%, you know, their full capacity quite yet. And that's why I think Queso beats them. Also, Queso's nuts. Endpoint versus Dig. I think Endpoint, it's going to be their first tournament with Archie. I think, although Archie is phenomenal, I don't know if in their first tournament together, they will be able to beat Dignitas. Dignitas is a great team still. I think if they can work out their mentality when they get down and kind of figure out how to stay with each other, I think this team is still top 3 in Europe. But that is their peak. I think it's top 3 in Europe. They are kind of like FaZe Clan to me in terms of where I see them in the standings. I don't see them living up to their full expectations, and that's where I think FaZe Clan has been for quite some time, and I think Dignitas is kind of running into that as well. Top 3 for them is really good. Now we got Team BDS versus X Team Queso. Do I believe in the bracket reset from BDS here? Is their mentality strong enough with Seiko? I don't think quite yet. I'm going to give it a 4-2. I think X Team Queso is just that strong. They're going to, after coming off an amazing winter split, they're going to continue the spring split in that same fashion, and they are going to dominate Europe once again. So these are my results for this prediction. It's Queso, BDS, Dignitas, Endpoint, Evil Geniuses, Suh, Carmine, Luminosity, Semper, Vitality, Misfits, SK Gaming, Liquid, BS Plus Competition, Wolves, and Wild. Hopefully you guys enjoy the predictions. I know pretty normal takes here, nothing really out of the ordinary, but knowing Europe, they're going to do something crazy. And if that does happen, here we are. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video. See you guys tomorrow for a stream, hopefully in the morning, and I'll see you then. Peace.